Feel like switching up your morning routine? Try soup for breakfast. It's delicious, nourishing, and this brown rice bowl with kabocha squash and shiitake mushrooms is just the ticket. I love breakfast soup. It is one of my go-to meals. I love it because it's really comforting, it's soothing, it's warm. You're getting a ton of vegetables in at the start of the day. You can fill up on nice, healthy whole grains like rice. And this one's really special because it uses brewed tea. I'm using a nice smoky Chinese black tea called Lapsang Souchong, and it gives kind of like a traditional Japanese dashi broth flavor, but because we're not using bonito flakes, it's vegan. So this is a really simple, clean, easy soup. So remove the stems from about 4 ounces of shiitake mushrooms. And if the caps are large like these guys, just go ahead and slice into smaller pieces. This is just gonna help them cook more evenly. The great thing about throwing shiitakes into this breakfast soup, especially if you're feeling a little under the weather, is that shiitakes have really great immune boosting properties. So you can just nip that cold in the bud at the beginning of your day. They also have tremendous flavor, great source of plant-based protein. I could go on and on and on about shiitakes. Love these guys. All right, next up for some color and beta carotene, I have half of a kabocha squash. This is a really, really delicious Japanese squash. If you haven't tried it, grab it. You can find it at most farmers markets and grocery stores at this point. It's pretty readily available. The texture is similar to butternut squash. It's not quite as sweet. It has a really nice, earthy, grassy flavor. So it goes really, really well in savory applications. I also love to bake these and puree it and use it in baked goods, like a slightly different approach to a sweet potato. But the flavor is tremendous. You guys should definitely try this. So what I've done is taken half of the kabocha squash, cut it into about 1-inch wedges. Do the other side too. Great thing about the kabocha squash, similar to the delicata, is that the peel is totally edible, so you don't have to deal with taking that off before you cook it. Okay. Now, these are a little unwieldy for a spoon, so cut them into thirds, like so. So we'll add those to the bowl with the mushrooms. All right. So let's get these guys simmering. I've already brewed about 4 cups of strong tea, and I'm using the Lapsang Souchong tea variety, which is a black Chinese tea. It has a light smoke on the leaves, which gives it that really, really characteristic flavor. Beautiful color. Or a great thing about this soup for breakfast is that it has caffeine, because it's a black tea, so it'll get you moving a little bit faster in the morning. Add these guys in. So bring this entire mixture up to a simmer, and we'll cook it nice and gently for about 10 minutes until the squash and the mushrooms are very tender. This smells delicious. Let's check, see if the vegetables are nice and tender. I like to use a paring knife here. Ooh, yeah, perfect. So let's season the broth. I have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. I like to use a low sodium soy sauce myself. To that, 1 teaspoon of rice wine vinegar, nice little hit of acid, and then a tablespoon of sugar. So this may seem a little unusual, but they're creating a really nice balance of savory and sweet. The sugar also helps bring out the natural sweetness in the squash. It just makes everything really, really tasty. So don't skip on that. We love salty sweet here. So if you love breakfast soup as much as I do and you want more recipes like this, make sure you like and subscribe. The other thing that the sugar helps with is balance that really, really robust smoky flavor of the tea. I also like cooking in a wider, high-sided skillet. This just helps the squash cook evenly, they don't break apart. You end up with these nice, really beautiful, hearty pieces. Okay, so we'll let this hang out. Take care of the garnish. That's key to a really delicious soup. I'm gonna take just 1 head of baby bok choy and thinly slice. By thinly slicing it, basically the residual heat of this simmering soup will kind of wilt the leaves just a touch, so it's somewhere between raw and just wilted. Make sure you get the stem end too, because this adds a nice crunch. I love the delicate flavor of baby bok choy, but you could also use baby spinach here. You could use a handful of baby kale. whatever you happen to have around. All right, and then for extra credit, you can add a few slices of avocado. This just adds a really, really nice body to the soup. I love the flavor of avocado. This is kind of like your avocado toast in a bowl for breakfast. Totally optional, but I recommend it. I think it's pretty tasty. Just peel this guy. You also sort of get an interesting thing texture-wise with the avocado. When it hits the hot broth, it just becomes really, really silky and super inviting. So delicious. All right, we've got our avocado. We'll just season this guy with a little salt too. So start with 3/4 cup cooked grains. I'm using brown rice here. I really love, love, love the flavor and texture of short grain brown rice. It's nutty, it's chewy. So you can use any cooked grain you happen to have on hand. Quinoa would be delicious here. So I'm starting by ladling in the squash and the mushrooms. Then add the bok choy. Make sure you get the nice tender green leaves, as well as these crunchy, crunchy stalks. We'll add the avocado. Dear, dear avocado. Breakfast is not complete without avocado in my book. And then finish it with the nice warm broth. Ladle all the way over. All right. This already smells amazing, so I can't wait to try it. Mmm. Oh, that's good. Comforting, satisfying, great source of vegetables, whole grains in the morning. Soup, it's what's for breakfast.